What is up, AKAPADers? Thank you for joining me for episode 215 of the AKAPAD Audio Audacity Podcast Experience. I don't know what I'm calling this thing, but I'm Peter A. DeLuca. Thank you for joining me. And today, right here, right now, we're talking Hobbs and Shaw. That's right. It's a big movie. Let's get to it. All right. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm Peter A. DeLuca. I am your guiding hand. I'm your guiding light in all things pop culture. We're talking movies. We're talking comic books. We are even talking my life. That's right. Because along the way, I drop a lot of life anecdotes. I drop a lot of knowledge. I believe when it comes to the obsessive nature of watching movies, collecting comic books, streaming. Every single day on Facebook and on Twitter, I'm looking for. I see people posting binge suggestions, and people just want to absorb content. They want to be engaged, and they want to be wrapped up in something. They want something to really penetrate them and kind of like show a little bit of the human condition, like back at them. They want it mirrored. But I am your guiding light. I'm holding your hand. I'm swimming next to you if you are in fact a swimmer. So what am I doing? What am I talking about? Look, hey. We go everywhere with this podcast, and if you're joining me for the first time, thank you so much. If you're coming back, thank you even more. That means you somewhat enjoy my musings. And yeah, today, July 13th, Hobbs and Shaw. That's when that movie came out. I'm talking to you September 11th. A heck of a time passed, but I didn't see Hobbs and Shaw when it came out. I saw it weeks later, and the reason for that is that my birthday is July 5th. For the longest time, I did not celebrate my birthday. I'm talking maybe 20 plus years. I'm 41 now. Sorry, I had to think about that. I'm 41 now. The last time I actually remember doing anything for my birthday, when it came to like friends and things like that, was you know what, everyone, give me one moment, cause in the AKAPAD Audio Audacity Podcast Experience studio, we have a ceiling fan going, and I forgot that was on. Let me turn that off. I'll be right back. I am so sorry about that. How rude of me. Look, I try and do as perfect audio as I can for you, and for a good stretch, one of my cords was chewed by Dallas. That's right, Diamond Dallas Cat on Instagram, the mascot of all of my social media, and that's the issue of why I was getting audio cracking, and my last few recordings I felt like were very choppy and weren't very consistent. But yeah, so I spent a long time, maybe between 23 and 40, not celebrating my birthday. And in the middle, I vaguely remember doing something for my 30th. So now every year I get together like a really good group of people, and we go to Chickies and Pete's in South Philly, and we just kind of go crazy. And it's friends, it's family. This past year, my brother-in-law, shout out to Sean, gave me Guns N' Rosé. It's a really good beer. He gave me like a 6-pack of it. That 6-pack lasted maybe 2 days. During my birthday in the restaurant. If you visit Philly, you have to visit Chickies and Pete's. It is, to me, a part of the Philly experience. Especially, it's a part of the Philly sports experience. I shotgun one of those beers there. There's video of it. You can find it on Facebook at www.facebook.com. You can just find me at Peter A. DeLuca or AKAPAD13. I'm there. I would love to see you within my Facebook feed so we can talk. Yeah, so I did that, and Mark's been there's multiple Marks that have been on this podcast. There's two of them. One was titled Merc with a Mouth, and the other one was somewhat Speedy or Little Mark. And Mark meets me here, and we kind of pregame a little, and pregame to go pregame basically because we were going out that night. So we're pregaming the pregame. The pregame was going to be Chickies and Pete's. Because I just wanted to go crazy, and your birthday is a good reason to go nuts. And he gives me like $50 in Fandango money, and I'm like, dude, this is it's too generous. It really is. It's too much. And I said, it doesn't matter. We'll use this for Hobbs and Shaw, and then quickly there, like we map out when we're seeing Hobbs and Shaw, and it's actually like 4 weeks. I think it was actually 4 weeks. So we're into August. But we mark the date, we go, we watch it, we make it happen. And the best thing about seeing movies in the summer when it comes to Philadelphia is if you see the movies on Columbus Boulevard, and if you're not afraid of physical activity, if you're not afraid of walking, and unless there's really something holding you back from that, I just believe everyone should be a walker because I walk so much. This past week, my daily average was 5.6 miles a day, and that's how much I walk. And I get it. I understand if someone isn't, but it does somewhat perturb me. But Mark and I love seeing movies at Columbus Boulevard and walking back to the AKAPAD Audio Audacity podcast studio. And roughly, it's like a 90-minute walk. And you're like, what? Yeah, but on a nice summer night, and the 90-minute walk becomes like a 4 or 5 hour pilgrimage, because him and I, we hit just about every place to eat and every place to drink between point A to B. And those nights are usually the most fun nights. They're the most exploratory. They're the most friendship open. I feel like our friendship, we bond a little bit more every time we go on that pilgrimage. And we've done it 5 or 6 times since then. And he's moved out of the city, so the gaps of us catching up are they're further and further separated. So there's always more that him and I, the point I'm getting at is that there's always more and more for him and I to discuss. Now here's the ironic thing: this coming weekend on Sunday, the 15th. Our boy is moving back into the city, and I cannot wait. I feel like a appendage is being reattached, and I'm proud of him, cause I was a naysayer. I said he was never going to get back into the city, based on other factors, mostly critical factors, but he proved me wrong, and look. I love being proven wrong when it comes to stuff like this. So anyway, we see Hobbs and Shaw, and holy crap, we completely enjoy this movie. And why is that? It's because we recognize what this movie is. We know what we're getting into. And, we kind of know what we're measuring the movie against. Going all the way back to the 80s action masterpieces like Predator, Conan the Barbarian, Cobra, Rambo. He didn't see The Last Blood, Stallone's 5th Rambo movie. He didn't see the trailer for that. The trailer for that hits during Hobbs and Shaw, and Mark loses his mind. And it's like, yes, that visceral reaction, that is why we go to the movies. This is why we're still in the movie game. It's the true strength of cinema when you see a reaction like that. It's the power of cinema reaching into like almost like a person's soul and just like caressing it. That comes out very soon. I think that comes out in 2 weeks. And I'm hoping he returns to the podcast and we can do like a full sit down. But what's happening with Hobbs and Shaw? I mean, look, we can go through the plot. I felt like it had a very intricate plot, and for some reason, when they and I'll just always go back to Transformers. People like to say the Transformer movies, the Fast and Furious movies, anything with The Rock in it or Dwayne Johnson doesn't have a plot, or it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that. And people really like to take these almost like hard-nosed positions on what those movies are. But then you ask them, you're like, well, like, like what didn't you like about Transformers Dark of the Moon? Like, was it not the plot twist? Was it not, somewhat of the heel turn of Alpha Sigma, I think, right? The one voiced by Leonard Nimoy. Was it not the backstory of Cybertron? Was it not Optimus Prime kind of wrecking shop again? Was it like, and you start talking to him, and you even bring in like some of the human elements, and they just look at you with a blank stare. They look at you with disappointment. They look at you as if you are nuts. And a lot of the times, it's like there is no response. And it's easy to see that person doesn't really know the story of Transformers Dark of the Moon. And I say Dark of the Moon because I think that's the most complete of the Transformer movies. It's, like it was kind of like the Transformers movie you thought about when you were a kid. A lot of people say, the first one's the best one. I mean, the first one's there. But Dark of the Moon is really firing on all cylinders. And, and the same thing happens with Fast and Furious, where, like, I can't even tell you how many people, because my favorite of that franchise is Tokyo Drift. And that might be the next episode. I might just do a little Fast and Furious block here. Okay. Tokyo Drift. I watched that movie with so many people. And everyone just gets pulled into that flick. And it's nothing, the story's not sophisticated, but I would say the relationships are nuanced. And there's plenty of really cool action, and we have like a crime element. It is a lot like the original Fast and Furious. What am I getting at is these criticisms about story and lack of character and this and that. When you actually talk to these people and you ask them questions about like what didn't they like and what this and that, it's so hard for them to actually crystallize it. And the reason for this is I feel like the storytelling format for movies has become elongated, and because it creates more value when it comes to the international market. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's an unintended consequence, but I really think that's a strong thing, because the plot for this movie is so big, it actually introduces Ryan Reynolds as a CIA agent that's potentially the villain. The villain really doesn't get revealed in this movie. And it also introduces Kevin Hart as another agent. So now we have a spin-off movie that is roughly at $165 million domestically, and ironically, it's the same number as X-Men Origins, like another spin-off movie. Like these are like your templates now for spin-off movies. Spin-off movies and spin-off anything normally like just doesn't do well. Like like you always have your outliers, like something like Frasier, spin-off from Cheers, and it becomes its own entity. But every once in a while, something spin-off really hits, and I believe Hobbs and Shaw is that. It's definitely a hit. I mean, it's at 700 million worldwide. I mean, yes, worldwide prestige. Let the sequel go. But we have a spin-off, and now we have this developing mythology. You know, we have the family of the Rock mythology. You know, mythology legacy. We have the family of Jason Statham. You know, Shaw. You know, crime mythology, crime legacy. You know, there's legit characters that were from the Fast and Furious universe that Jason Statham bring over with him, and he weaves in and out of. And we have a fantastic like voice that's the villain. You know, like a controller, so to speak. Chris Elvis, right? Chris Elvis. I hope I'm saying. Oh, I'm sorry. Idris Elvis. Oh my God, total brain fart there. Idris Elvis is a awesome villain. You know, and everything with him kind of comes down to, you know, it's going to come down to like a one-on-one fight. But that fight at the end of this movie, and the way how they match him, is just really well done. It's awesome, very visual. The big shout out for this movie is David Leitch. And he is, you know, he's one of our boys behind John Wick. And he's, you know, one of our boys. I think the last time Mark and I hung out here late night, we actually watched Atomic Blonde, like 4 o'clock. It was like, you know, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're bombed out of our minds. And then we watched Atomic Blonde and loved it. But, you know, he's the director of Deadpool 2. And I kind of, like, I hate to say it, but I'm like, you know, a little bit more into Deadpool 2 than I am into the original Deadpool. And I know that's a little bit blasphemous. I know I'm not supposed to be saying that. I'm a bad boy. Bad boys for life. And so the plot of this movie, look, we have a MacGuffin. You know, we have a threat. It's the actual mechanics of the plot is very much like Mission Impossible 2. I really don't like care about that because it's a separate movie. The plot works in here, the drama works in here, the family dynamic, and that's somewhat of the Fast and Furious theme. That's a part of the Fast and Furious that's carrying over, is the family dynamic, and it's just really cool. It's really cool seeing The Rock and Dwayne Johnson. I feel like I have to say that every single time, and Jason Statham, Hobbs and Shaw. The chemistry of the two and how they're not friendly, they don't like each other, but they do and they will, and they make it work, is perfect. Okay, I mean, it's one of the best buddy, you know, detective action drama movies in a very long time. I mean, this movie calls back to a lot of like mid 80s buddy cop, you know, 48 Hours, I'm looking right at you, kind of like action dramas, you know, with a little bit of comedy, you know, that it really isn't explored anymore. And this is just a, you know, look, I'm going to do a byline. It's a high octane version of that. And wrapped within all of this, we have multiple environments. We have wonderful set pieces. Idris Elvis has this motorcycle that he's able to call at will, and the stunt work around that motorcycle is some of the best motorcycle stunt work I've seen, again, in a very, very long time. I'm trying to think of examples. I mean, might be Mission Impossible 2, the last time I saw motorcycle stunt work as good as this. But it's just really, really cool stuff. Idris Elba comes off as a unstoppable villain. You do ask yourself as the movie's going on, you're like, how are they going to like beat this guy? This guy will mop the floor with 10 of them. And you know, like it gets to the point where, like, you know, do they kill him? Do they not? I really dislike when villains die in movies that are a part of a franchise and part of a bigger picture. And Fast and Furious is definitely a bigger picture. Fast and Furious, at the end of the day, is one of your top cinematic universes ever created. I'm sorry, like everyone's like, MCU. It's like, okay, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has some movies that are connected. Fast and Furious, every single movie's connected. Okay, so now we're after the 9th movie, we're going to be 10 movies in, and they're all connected. That's more films than Harry Potter, people. Okay, I mean, Harry Potter being the longest narrative, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, coming up. I would say like James Bond from Casino Royale. So I think that was 20. So we have James Bond from 20 to 25. Okay, we have Star Wars. Star Wars is going to end at 9. Fast and Furious is going to have more of a thread than Star Wars is. Think about that. And Transformers as well. And side note with Transformers, I will keep saying it. I absolutely love how the Transformers inches back the mythology film to film. It's just fun. But yeah. So, I mean, this movie, completely entertaining, completely fun, delivered, filled with beautiful people. I love movies filled with models, with hotties. I just love it. I'm susceptible to it. I don't know. I watch those movies, and afterwards, I just want to work the F out. I just want to go to the gym. And I wish Philly had a 24-hour gym. And I wish Philly just had bars that didn't close, because I would do both after seeing Hobbs and Shaw. And, to me, this movie was very significant because, it was a part of my birthday experience, my birthday celebration. Mark amplified that. He made that just a little bit more special. He really did. And, I don't know. Along the way, I just felt a little sentimental too, like just having him around. And I'm so happy, I'm so grateful that he's back in the city. I feel like he is a little bit like Samson. He has got his hair back. He found his true power. The idea with Samson is that he finds his power without his hair. But anyway, you know what I mean, people. And I think we're at a wrap, people, for the AKAPAD's Peter A. DeLuca's Audio Audacity episode 215. 216 will be Tokyo Drift. I might just go 3, 2, 1, and then we're really inching into the 31 Days of Dread. I will reveal the episode 1 of the third annual now 31 Days of Dread, which will be Brightburn. And holy crapoli, I cannot wait to talk about this movie. I really can't. But look, everyone, I love you. Go out there and create. Start something, but start something that you're going to finish. Okay? But create and sell. Sell something. Okay? Help me out. Find me on Twitter, AKAPAD. Find me on Instagram, AKAPAD13. Snapchat, AKAPAD. Add me by name. I'm not on TikTok yet, but maybe. And you already have my Facebook. Everyone, I love you. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time.